Yo YouTube, how you guys doing? Welcome back to the series where we are going through each killer and we are talking about the builds that I think you should be using as a newer player that's trying to use the killer. So I've already done this for Trapper and Wraith. If you guys have seen those videos, I'm still kind of working out the formula of how I want to do it, and I think I finally settled. I did it differently for the Trapper than I did the Wraith, and I think I'm going to do it differently this time too, but I think I actually have the formula this time. So what I'm gonna do for these videos and every other killer going forward, it took us 3 killers, but we have a bunch. So if I establish the formula now, then I think we should be good, right? I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it where I'm only gonna use the killer that I'm using's teachables, as well as non-teachable perks like whispers, and teachables from the killers that are free, which are Trapper, Wraith, Billy, Nurse, and Huntress. So just those, because okay, like a big issue of mine is that I kind of forget what it's like to be new to this game because I've been playing this game for almost 5 years and I have like a bajillion hours. So I feel like that's probably the biggest like gate, right? I think that's the biggest thing, like the biggest thing that's keeping people out is like the paid DLCs, right? I don't think anyone's gonna buy this game and then immediately buy every single DLC. These are all like $7, right? Which $7 isn't a lot, but when you add up all these DLCs, it kind of turns into a lot, you know? Like I don't think anyone's gonna immediately buy the game and then immediately spend this much money on every single killer. So I think what I'll do is I'll do the first video, I'll just do 2 builds with just the free killers, just the free killers perks. So I still will include some teachables, but the teachables will be on killers that are free. And then for the second video where I do like the meta builds, I'll just do all perks allowed, just basically run wild with it. So for Billy, we are running a couple of his perks. A big thing I noticed when I was going through perks and trying to decide what to run was that there's like no regression perks at all. Like there's some like kind of minor game slowdown, like very not even very strong ones, like some very minor game slowdown perks, but there's like barely any regression perks that come free with the game. Like almost all the good regression perks you have to unlock, like Hex Ruin on Hag, Pop on Clown, like almost every one of like the big major like regression perks are like on even like Surge. Like even I wouldn't even say Surge is like a huge one, but even Surge you gotta unlock. Like basically all you have to work with is like Thanatophobia from Nurse and Sloppy Butcher as far as like a non-teachable. That's like mostly it. I mean I might be missing 1 or 2, but that's essentially all there is, which is not very much at all. That's like essentially nothing. Maybe Lullaby if you want to count that. But for this build, we're going to try to do our best and work with what we got the best we can. So we're going to be running 2 of his teachables, which are Enduring and Tinker, which I both think are fantastic perks, and I think they're especially good on Billy. We're going to be ignoring his 3rd Lightborn. I don't really think Lightborn is that good. I think you can just learn to counterplay flashlights and you can basically get around Lightborn, but hypothetically, if you do see a bunch of people, like if you're a new player and you're just not like if you're still kind of learning the basic fundamentals of killer and you're not trying to like learn in-depth, you know, advanced techniques to play against flashlights yet, and you happen to get a full squad of flashlights in your lobby and you're just like, I don't feel like fucking dealing with this, you know, you could just slap on Lightboard, you know, you could just slap it on in place of like of one of these perks, and it'll basically completely shut it down. Like they won't be able to use flashlights on you at all. You just slap this on, bada bing, bada boom. Flashlights are a thing of the past, dude. You just don't even gotta worry about them anymore. But I think in the long run, you should be trying your best to learn to play without it, because you can very, very, very easily get around flashlights without Lightborn, and then that frees up a perk slot for something else, which is really, really good. So we're going to be running Enduring and Tinker. Enduring is a perk that makes it so that pallet stuns are basically non-existent. You eat pallet stuns and you just recover like instantly. It's like less than a second. You can basically just walk into every pallet and give no fucks with Enduring. It's fantastic. We're also running Tinker. This gives you a noise notification when a gen is basically about to complete, when it's at 70%, and then you also get stealth for 16 seconds, which is pretty nice. We're also going to be running Shadowborn. This is one where I don't know if I should be recommending it, but I also am going to anyway, because I feel like... Okay, I'll explain a little bit more later. This is an FOV increasing perk. Basically, it just makes your field of view bigger so that you can see more, essentially is what it is. That's all the perk does. But it's really, really nice in certain instances that we'll talk about. And then Whispers is going to be my last one. This is a perk that's kind of hard to use. So if you want to replace this with Spies from the Shadows is like, it isn't as strong, but it's kind of easy, right? Like you don't really have to use your brain. It just kind of like gives you an explosion noise notification whenever a crow goes off. You know what? I'll actually do one game with spies, and then I'll go back and I'll do the second game with whispers. How about that? I'll actually do spies for this first game. This one is like an easier version of whispers that is less good. It's not as consistent, right? Like they have to actively piss off a crow, whereas whispers is just always active if they're within a certain meter. So I'll use this one for tracking, and this is basically the idea behind the perk. There's not really any slowdown. It's just kind of like a very fast, aggressive build. Now, I'm also, for add-ons, I'm running the slightly increases the chainsaw rate of coaling, the yellow one, and the gray one, the increases the chainsaw overheat limit. These are both add-ons that kind of help combat the overheat mechanic, because the overheat mechanic is going to be really rough as a new player. As a new Billy player, the main thing that you should be focusing on is learning to use the chainsaw. Like, that is the biggest thing. If you run around and just smack people with your hammer 24/7, then what the hell is the point of playing Hillbilly? Like, why are you not just playing Wraith at that point? You know what I mean? So really, the big learning curve and what you should be focusing on is definitely learning to use the chainsaw. And overheat, unfortunately, is a thing that exists now, and if you use the chainsaw too much, it goes on cooldown, which sucks. But this will help you a lot with it not going on cooldown. This just makes it more like, this makes the limit higher, so you got to use it more before it does, and then this makes it so that when you're not using it, it like recovers better. These are actually better than the purple one. There's a purple one that also helps with like heat gain when starting to rev the chainsaw, but this add-on is actually worse than these two. Even though it's a higher rarity, it's worse, which is a problem because of a change that was made on the PTB. It's a long story, I'm not going to get into it, but just know that this add-on is worse than these two. So if you're trying to run add-ons for this exact purpose, you're better off with the yellow and the browns than you are the purple, so just ignore that add-on. And I will say that if you're trying to go for chainsaws, this is where Shadowborn is going to help you a lot. Shadowborn does wonders for you when you're trying to actually line up a chainsaw in close range. Like if you're like right on top of somebody and they're like juking around and you're like having trouble keeping track of them, Shadowborn will help you keep track of them very, very well. So I'll actually do a game with Shadowborn and then a game without as well. I'll do that too. I'll do a game with Shadowborn under Spies, and the next game I'll take off Shadowborn and I'll take off Spies and put on Whispers, and we'll change it up for the second game. But let's just go in, let's hop in game, and let's showcase this. Okay, we got home field advantage with a corn map too. Let's go. And this is probably one of the better corn maps, maybe? Maybe Rotten Fields would be better for Billy, but not bad. Not too bad. Not too shabby at all. There's Spies. That's what Spies does. Bada bing, bada boom. You see how like less brain power that requires, even right there as well. There's someone out here too. This person's in a worse spot, so I'm gonna go after them. Well, they're kind of both in okay spots. Hey, dude. Well, that's enduring, by the way. You guys are wondering why enduring is good? That's why enduring is good. You can literally just swing at pallets. Like, you can literally just swing at pallets, and then if you get stunned, you recover so quickly that it's essentially like not even, it's essentially like you didn't even get stunned at all. Like, you actually recover faster than you do if you like hit, like you recover faster than you would if you actually land the M1, if that makes sense. Like, if you landed your basic attack, you would have to do like the animation of like throwing your hammer and catching it, whereas with enduring, you just instantly recover. You just instantly recover, and then you can get a second hit like immediately. I don't know what this guy's doing. Maybe he's got Metal of Man or something, pissing off crows. And look, like, you just swing. I mean, he wasn't there, but even if he was, it wouldn't have mattered. Like the stun just does not matter. Here, we'll do it again. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And then sometimes you get hits, you know? You see that? Enduring, so good. Especially as a new player, dude, because new players very often get like afraid of pallets, you know what I mean? Like, it's a very common thing for newer killer players to see a pallet and then they like cower in fear, you know? Like, oh god, a pallet, I don't want to get stunned, and then they like hide from it and they're like, oh god, let's not go anywhere near that pallet, oh god, I might get stunned, you know? That's like a big thing that I see people do a lot. By the way, I'm trying to let these guys unhook. I don't want to end this game so quickly. It's kind of unfortunate that guy DC'd. Okay, dude. Okay, dude. You're gonna let the poor injured guy run over there and get the unhook? You're just gonna leave him out to dry like this, dude? Come on, man. Come on, bruh. We might be able to get a curve here, but I doubt it. We don't have any add-ons. Yeah. I mean, curving is not really something that you need to worry about as like a newer player, but I'm just kind of having fun with it. Did the vault? You did. Got the M1 there. A big thing about learning Billy too that I think I need to say is if you're someone who's trying to learn Billy, the biggest thing is like learning to use the chainsaw, right? Like learning to effectively use the chainsaw is probably the hardest part of learning Billy. But I think the second hardest part is knowing, or maybe even the first hardest part, is knowing when to use the chainsaw, right? You see how I can eat this pallet and then immediately kick it? You see that? Like, you see how I just don't have to give a fuck at all? Like, I don't have to stop to avoid stuns. You can literally just eat the stun. I didn't lose like any extra time from that. I mean, maybe like a half a second, but like barely anything at all. Like, it was essentially nothing. And it helps you a lot to not get punished for like respecting pallets too much. You know what I mean? It helps a lot as a new player in a chase. This guy's just throwing every pallet, huh? I'm gonna fake like I'm gonna break it, and I'm gonna go around. This guy's too smart though. Oh, that looked like it should have landed to me. I don't know. He was like getting way too brave there. I just want to break it and be close to him is all I want to do. I want to break the pallet and then be on his ass, on his cheeks, you know. This Felix is actually pretty good. He's actually pretty good at the game. Okay, we got Tinker going off, so I'm just gonna chainsaw over there with my stealth. This Felix is actually pretty good. I can catch him eventually. He's in a pretty strong area, but I can catch him eventually. See, like, this is really nice for just like pressure and gens, you know. Yeah. Why? But why? Well, he's pretty good at chases, but he's pretty horrible at basic awareness. Because I mean, we were stealth with Tinker, but you would think that he would know we'd have Tinker since we like left him to go over to that gen, but I guess not. Oh my God, what are these guys doing? So again, I think the hardest part of playing Billy is like landing these chainsaws, right? Like if you notice with this David, I was really taking my time. A big thing, and like honestly, I made a whole Billy video about this. Like, I made a whole guide to Billy, so you guys can always watch that if you want to learn about Billy. As a matter of fact, I'll link that. I'll link that in this video. Did one of them jump in the locker? I think they did. Sick dead hard. Sick nasty with the dead hard. Fantastic. That guy's dead. But essentially, like one of, if not the hardest part to playing Billy is actually landing your chainsaws, right? Like when you're right behind somebody and you're like revving your saw and they're like juking around back and forth and trying to avoid getting hit. That's when it's really fucking difficult to land your chainsaws, you know? That's when it's hard. And Shadowborn helps a ton with that. And also it's just something that you need to practice. I picked the wrong one. I knew he was in a locker. I just didn't know which one. Let me see if I can get into a position with this guy where I can do it. Like, essentially what you want to do... Well... See, I could grab him there. I could kill him, but I really want to chainsaw him just for the sake of showing. Like, you want to hold your saw... like this, you see? Like, you want to hold it, like, really high up, and then basically wait for, like, the right time to use it, you know? Like, you want to hold it there, and then kind of, line up your aim, and then, like, line up your aim, and then line up your aim, and then once you're ready to pull the trigger, then you just hold it down, and then actually fill it up, you know? That's, like, a big thing that is very difficult with Billy. That's probably the hardest part of playing Billy, especially since they added servers. Like, it used to be a lot easier back in the day, but ever since they added dedicated servers, movement is sometimes really rough on the survivor side. Sometimes they like teleport around, and this is where Shadowborn comes in huge. Like, I'll show you next game. I'm gonna take off Shadowborn, and like landing those chainsaws like that. Like, I don't think I missed a single one this game, right? I bet you next game when I take off Shadowborn, I'll probably miss a couple. And I'm not gonna do it on purpose just to like be like, haha, look at how good Shadowborn is. Like, I'm actually gonna try, and I bet you I'll probably miss a couple because it's tough. It's actually pretty tough to land chainsaws these days with how crazy movement is, and with how low your FOV is. But anyway, that was an okay game. I mean, the dude fucking DCing immediately kind of fucked us. Like, this guy is basically a gigantic poos. He is a gigantic poos. A massive poosy. He got like insta killed right away, and then just did the thing where instead of just like sticking around for his like 3 lives that he gets, he just dies once and goes, fuck this, man, I quit, I'm out of here, and then just like pulled the plug. It's fucking lame. It's lame. But either way, that was a solid first game, I guess, all things considered. We'll go switch up the build a little bit, and then we'll queue up and do a second one. So let's go. All right, boys. So for the second game, we're going to take off Spies, like I said, and put on Whispers. Again, Spies is the easier one. You guys saw how it worked for me that last game. There was kind of just crows that you would see, and then you would know exactly where they are. But again, that was actually pretty good. That was like not... I feel like if I ran Spies like 10 games, I don't think it would happen like that every 10, like all 10 of the games, right? There's a lot of games where you run Spies where you barely get any value out of them at all. So I think that was a pretty good example. Whereas Sometimes you run spies and you barely get any value out of it all. I still think Whispers is the superior perk, although it is kind of difficult to use. I will leave a link to the guide I made for Whispers as well. I'm going to be leaving a link to a lot of stuff. There'll be a Billy guide and a Whispers guide in the description, so feel free to check either one of those out if you guys are interested. But I'm going to be putting Whispers on this this game instead. And instead of Shadowborn, I think I'm going to put on Sloppy Butcher, because I feel like Sloppy might be good for when you're trying, like, okay, I don't think you should run Sloppy too much when you're first starting out, because I don't think that you should be not using your chainsaw, right? Like, this only works when you don't use your chainsaw. If you chainsaw somebody, this doesn't apply. This is only on basic attacks, so only with your hammer hits, right? And I don't think it's a good idea to necessarily only hammer people, right? Like, I don't think that's a good idea at all. Like, it's good to practice your chainsaw, but at the same time, it is also important as a new Billy player to be able to recognize when to hammer somebody, you know? Like, you need to be able to recognize when you can't get a chainsaw and you have to just get a regular basic attack. And I think putting this perk on might make that feel a little bit less bad, right? Like, you might feel a little bit less bad going for M1s as opposed to chainsaws if you're applying Sloppy Butcher to them. So I'm going to throw on Sloppy. Plus, it's just a pretty good perk. Like, honestly, it's a pretty solid perk. It's one of the only regression perks that we really have to work with, so I might as well. So this is going to be the build change up we're going to do. We're not going to change the add-ons or anything, because I still feel like these are probably pretty good as like a newer player trying to learn. And let's go get another game. Okay, let's do this. So we're going to be lacking Shadowborn this time, which is again, not the end of the world. I think most people play Billy without Shadowborn. I just personally like it a lot. That's okay. We also got a kind of rough map. Definitely not the best map. You also kind of look like you go slower. When you don't have Shadowborn, it kind of looks like you're going slower, which is weird. Like, Shadowborn, like, the higher FOB, like, it makes you feel like you're, like, thooming around, you know? It makes you feel like you're flying. Okay, because Whispers went off, it makes me know that somebody is most likely here. Okay, I guess they're not here. They must have been out here. Or they must have been further away and then they left. Oh, well. What we got going on here? Oh, I couldn't slide off that? Man. I don't really know the hitboxes of, like, the new stuff in this and the new maps. Like, on most maps, like trees like that, you can kind of just bounce right off. Where the fuck did this guy go? Where could he have gone? What? I'm so confused. Where could this guy have even gone? Wait, Whispers wasn't even going off anymore, so he completely left. What the hell? I actually have no idea where that guy went. I am actually so confused. These guys are stealth gods. These guys are literal legends of stealth. Let me check this gen. What the fuck? Well, there, we got something with Tinker at least. Interesting. These guys are just very, very stealthy, I guess. Hello. Hi. Jesus, man. Took me like all fucking day to find somebody. Hey, dude. Like, here I'm gonna line up the chainsaw, but I might not necessarily use it. That was actually really good on his part. I fucked up by filling it up when I didn't mean to, but that was still really good on his part. And I broke the pallet instead of getting him. Awesome. Awesome. All right, we'll get the chainsaw real quick. I kind of went for a curve there instead of a back rev. I feel like more often than not, if you're learning Billy, you're going to be going for back revs. Also, if you're new to the game and you're playing Billy, you're also more than likely not going to be playing survivors like these, you know? Like, I'm also queuing up at rank 1, and I know matchmaking isn't always perfect. Sometimes you get, like, people that are bad at rank 1, but generally speaking, I'm pretty sure most of the survivors I go against are going to be, like, actively trying to juke the chainsaw. Whereas if you're new to the game and you're actually playing, like, against survivors that are also new to the game, you're gonna have a lot of survivors that are literally just, like, terrified, and they just they're not gonna be trying to juke. They're just gonna be horrified and just, like, holding W and just, like, running away, you know? So against survivors like those, it's a lot easier to land your chainsaws. Like, you don't really need to, like, stress about it. You kind of just do it. You know what I mean? You kind of just land the saw. Okay. Okay. Right. Cool. Like this guy. Like this guy. Like, you're gonna, like you're absolutely gonna get a lot of survivors like this, right? Like, you don't really need to, like, focus and, like, you know, take your time with it. You can kind of just rush it because he's not juking. He's just holding W, right? He's terrified. He's just holding W. He's not actively juking in any way. You know, like, survivors like that, you can just chainsaw. But you do need to go for back revs. That's a big thing. Again, this is all covered in the Billy guide, so I don't really, like, I don't really have to go over it, but I will just for the sake of like letting you guys know. Oh, they're not back here. That you should really only be going for chainsaws if they're like they basically need to be not anywhere near a window or pallet. They need to be like in a relatively open field. And also you need to be like close to them. You need to be basically like right on their ass. When you hear the term back revving literally means revving your chainsaw on their back revving. Like that's literally what it means. So that's essentially what you want to do. Man, these guys are very split and they're so stealthy. Like these guys are so fucking stealthy. I like can't find anyone ever. And they always happen to be on the gen that I'm nowhere near. Every time. This is going very, very badly for me. It's very unfortunate. Hi, Bill. Hi, Kate. See, like, again, like people like this Kate. Super easy to chainsaw, you know? Oh, I can go around this. That's sick. I gotta be perfectly honest with you guys. I really don't know this map that well. Okay, this was the ace that went out here. That's really unfortunate. They ended up dead popping that gen, which sucks too. Hey, Ace, what up, dude? What up, duder? Do you have dead hard? All the gens are popping. What do I do? That was the first person I applied Sloppy to, by the way, which makes me feel like maybe Sloppy was a bad perk to run here. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like Sloppy is either like really solid or it's horrible, you know? Like, it doesn't seem to be like many in-betweens for that. And I feel like right now it's kind of being horrible. Like, I'm not really M1ing anybody. I've just been kind of chainsawing people. Okay. Get her down. Again, we don't have to give a shit about the pallets because we have enduring, so we can just swing right through them. Throw her up on the hook right quick. Bada bing, bada boom. Wow, the 3 gens that are left are so separated too. Like they are like miles apart. This was a really bad game. I honestly lost to stealth this game, which is really unfortunate. Which is not making a very good case for Whispers, is it? Like I was talking about how good of a perk Whispers is. I don't think that makes a very good case for it if I basically lost solely to stealth while running a tracking perk that I call good. All right, we're gonna fake that. Get the chainsaw on her. Again, this is kind of more advanced stuff. Like if you're like a Billy who's like learning the game, that chainsaw is probably not something that you want to go for. That's a very difficult chainsaw to land. I had to fake the rev on the pallet to get him to loop it, and then I had to like rev it up as he was turning the corner and then like curve it around the corner. Like that was kind of a more like advanced chainsaw that I think a newer player is not really going to be able to easily do. So I don't know if I would use that as like a good example of what you should be going for. Like if you're like a newer Billy, it might not be a bad idea to just M1 that guy right there, you know? Like if you're trying to learn the more advanced stuff, then feel free. Like feel free to try it, you know? Like go nuts. Like give it a try, why not? But I don't know. I feel like it might not be the best thing to focus on, you know? Like you might be better off focusing on other things. All right, she at least knows the basics to looping. That's good. We're gonna keep faking our rev to see if we can get her to drop the pallet. Or not drop the pallet. That also works. The Bill might have had an unbreakable. I'm not sure. He got up immediately. I'm not sure if that was unbreakable or if someone picked him up. If it was unbreakable, then the game's over. Because that means that they're doing that other gen. I think it was. Yeah, I think the game's over. I kind of needed somebody to get off that gen to come pick him up. Maybe they did. Maybe they did because she instantly got unhooked back there. So maybe they did. I assume that they're probably on that gen in the distance, and I can't really get over there. Like, if it's almost done, I'll hear about it with Tinker, but I don't know if I'll be able to stop it, really. Especially if there's more than one person on it. There shouldn't be right now, though, because I just got this guy, and someone just unhooked Kate, so there should be 3 people on this side of the map right now. And here comes the stealth plays, dude. Here comes the stealth. The motherfucking stealth gamers, dude. I think the stealth works extra good on this map because I don't really know this map yet. Like they just changed it and I don't really like know it too well. Like I don't really know, like I get lost a lot. I'm not sure where I am, which I guess kind of simulates being a new player, right? I guess this is a pretty good simulation of being a new player. Oh, on this generator, huh? I thought it would be the other one. Interesting. They're probably still going to finish that other one, though, which kind of sucks, but what are you going to do? They'll probably throw that. Fuck, I was trying to curve around that corner. God damn it. I could have just pulled the trigger on the chainsaw as he got up to the window, but I didn't want to do it. I wasn't sure what he's going to do. Yeah, see, I think this is where the game's over. We didn't get enough pressure in like the early mid game. I think we just lose now because of it. Ooh, so close. Somebody might have stayed on it. Hey, dude. See, like survivors like this that actively juke, like this is where Shadowborn is like invaluable. Like you see how I could barely see that guy? Like you see how like when he's juking around, like your chainsaw is so big and bulky and covers up like a third of your screen. And on top of that, he's just like fucking skipping around and 360 and shit. That's where Shadowborn is so good. So good, right? Like again, against like newer survivors, you might not necessarily need it, right? Like Shadowborn isn't 100% needed. But against survivors like that are actually like doing a good job of juking, Shadowborn is absolutely invaluable. This guy's just gonna get himself mentally blocked again, I think. Maybe not. That was actually weird. I just got like auto-aimed into the wall for some reason. I don't even really understand why that was a thing. Like it literally just auto-aimed me into the wall. Huh. Good old Billy. Good old Hillbilly gameplay where you just get auto-aimed. Well, we're gonna get a little bit closer. See, even right there, I was too far away. I needed to get closer. Wow, now he's actively juking. Look at him go. And the ace starts juking too. Check him out. He's learning, dude. He's learning things. Let me see if there's anyone on this door before I hook him. There was. Nice. We can stop this door real quick too. I feel like that other door is probably gonna get open, but that's okay. We're gonna see what he does here. We'll chainsaw him, yeah. I was trying to zone him out, but I don't think he's even paying attention. Again, that there is kind of more advanced Billy stuff too, right? Like I was zoning that guy out by pulling out my chainsaw, which is shit. Where did I down this ace again? It was like down here, right? Fuck him, dude. He's deep in this corner somewhere, which is okay because that means that if the other guy goes for him, they're also gonna be deep in the corner. So that's okay. Plus, this guy might have unbreakable. I think I just gotta hook him real quick. Trying to see if I can see scratch marks. These guys were like omega stealth gamers, dude. These guys were so good at stealthing, and even still, like I downed this ace, and he immediately just like crawled away and hid somewhere. Like these guys are very good at stealthing, I gotta say. Like they stealth in ways that is like unpredictable. Because I don't even know where they're going. I feel like usually I can find stealth gamers just based off of like basically predicting. You know, I could basically. Those crows just landed. I don't think that was me that pissed them off. These crows coming down were not me. Oh, did he crawl to the door? Oh, they opened that door. What the fuck? These guys are legendary gamers, dude. Legendary video gamers, I gotta say. Yeah, I want the Kate. He probably had borrowed time, but I can get the Kate. I'll take a 2K here. Considering how horrible the early game went, I'll take a 2K here. I really kind of biffed it up in the early mid game by not finding anyone for like an hour and like letting them get like 3 gens done while I got like maybe 1 or 2 downs. So considering how bad of a start this game was, it actually went pretty good. Especially considering I also had no slowdown, you know? GG's. GG's. None too shabby. GG's. I feel like our emblems will probably be shit. They usually are. Like emblems are almost always really bad for Billy, but that's only because of his 1-shot down. Like that's another thing that sucks about Billy that I feel like I should say if you're like a newer player. If you care at all about the rank system, Billy is probably not the best killer. I actually got gold, which is not bad. I feel like usually I end up getting like silver. Like I'll sometimes 4K people and I'll get silver malicious because wait, not malicious. Wait, are these wrong? Okay, this should say chaser. Wait, chaser's over here. Wait, what? Did they change this? Wait, what the fuck? Okay, that's why I'm confused. I did get silver chaser. Chaser used to be over here. Dude, this goes to show how much I look at the emblems, dude. I don't ever pay attention to this. Like the rank system means nothing to me at this point. But anyway, sorry. I was trying to look at chaser. Chaser used to be here, but I guess they changed it to over here for some reason. There, I got silver chaser though. I feel like it's really hard to get anything other than silver chaser because you get points for getting hits, right? Like every time you get a hit in a chase, you get points, but because you get 1-shot downs, it kind of eliminates a whole hit, right? Like instead of getting 2 hits per down, you only get 1 hit per down, which gives you half as many points. So it's kind of really bad. It's kind of like a flaw in the emblem system that they probably should have changed, but I think it's not going to change at this point. There's already a new system coming, so it's probably not going to, it's not going to matter at this point. But for the meantime, if you care about the emblem system, if you care about being rank 1, if you care about ranking up, I probably wouldn't bother with Billy. He's probably one of the worst options for it just because of how the emblem system works. But he is really fun, though. He is very fun. And yeah, there you go. GG's, boys. Actual decent rank 1. I mean, again, like decent rank 1 survivors in their own way. These guys, not to be mean, they weren't really good at chase. They kind of sucked at like running and looping, but they were very good stealth gamers. I gotta give them credit. They were fucking amazing stealth gamers. Those were like some of the most difficult stealth survivors I've gone against in a while. So GG's. All right, boys, that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys learned a thing or two. Hopefully I can give you some sort of direction. Keep an eye out as well, because I'm going to be releasing one shortly after this. That's going to be the meta perks for Billy, which is basically going to be like 2 builds that are, I think, in my opinion, like meta for him and that are really, really strong. So keep an eye out for that. That one should be coming out shortly. Again, please give like final feedback. I think this is the formula that I'm going to follow for this. I've been doing like different formulas in each video, but I think I'm finally settling on this one. If you guys have any like last minute tweaks that you think I should do to like what perks I use and whatnot, then feel free to let me know. But this seems like the best option to me, I think. So I think this is what I'm going to go forward with. Thank you guys for watching. Like the video if you guys liked it. It helps me a lot with the algorithm. Subscribe as well, because I'm uploading almost daily. And also stop by my live stream. I'm live on Twitch 6 nights a week over at twitch.tv/OhTofu. So feel free to stop by and say hello. And thank you guys so much for hanging out. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your night. I'm out of here. So yeah, take care. So yeah, I'm out of here. So yeah, later. So yeah.